Hello, everybody. Welcome to STATURDAY Chat Live here on July 17th, 2021. Good to see you there in the chat. I hope you all are doing well wherever you happen to be in the world. I thank you for all your support here on the channel. As always, we're going to try to keep this to around 30 minutes. And today I actually do have to keep it to around 30 minutes because we're going to go see some friends and do some other things here today on a Saturday. So yeah, we're going to try to keep it to 30 minutes. So if you have any comments, chats, questions, whatever else that might be, or want to curse me, feel free to go ahead and do that in the chat, and we'll go from there. So where's everybody at? So tell me where you're from. So hello from Sweden. All right. Yes. Sorry. I am, as always, on these streams. A lot of my viewers are in different parts of the world, so I don't get names exactly right. So I apologize if I get a name wrong. My sincere apologies. So I hope you are doing well. Just a few updates on the channel, and then we'll take any questions, comments, whatever else you might have in this 30-minute live session that you have access to me. Do the best I can. So I'm still working on the multiple regression playlist where we go by and learn techniques to evaluate certain models. So as we add variables to a regression model, do we know whether or not those variables actually contribute to the model? And how do we sort of simplify and reduce the model? So there are many techniques to do that. So I'm still working on those, and I'll continue to work on those until like the fall semester starts. So a lot of educational channels, mine included, have a big dip in the summer, of course, because not many, students are in class, or much fewer students are in class during the summer, at least here in the US. So, excuse me. So I try to focus on getting content out for the fall, when students are actually looking for content. So, yes. So let's see here. We have a couple of questions. Marco, thank you from Italy. Love to get to Italy someday, but you are very welcome. I'm glad I can help you out in your journey and your educational journey. If I can kind of get you from point A to point B and you can get on your way from there, that's my goal. So you are very, very welcome. Good question. Can you recommend good data sources for beginners that want to try their statistical wings? So if you are referring to places where you can actually download data and practice on, is that what you're referring to? So there are several, you can crawl the web for data sources, of course, that are out there. Excuse me. And then you have Kaggle, of course, has data sets you can download and practice on. There are a lot of universities that will have websites like for their statistics classes you can download data from. Packages, stats packages have built-in data sets that you can practice on, of course. So R has built-in data sets, and the Python libraries have some data sets built in. You can practice on those. Some old textbooks will sometimes have zip files, or even really old ones will have CDs you can have. So there are numerous. There's another one called, I think it's Statistica or something like that. I've not used that, but I know that's another resource. Let me see if I can find that. Let's see here. No, that's not it. I can't find it, but there are several. So yeah, if you're looking for data sets to practice on, there are many, many ones you can find that are available out there. So, all right, let's hide this back there. So yeah, drop any questions in there. We'll answer them the best we can. I will say that if you're trying to practice your data skills, you can actually do a couple things. You can go into LinkedIn and join some of those groups on there that can point you in certain directions. There are competitions out there that you can join. So Maven Analytics has a data set they release. I think it's every month that you can practice on and show. So many resources out there. Okay. All right. So Raul says, when it comes to learning statistics, I always recommend your videos to every student. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. I have one request. Please create a video series regarding survival analysis in detail. So let me write that down. I have a very long list of topics that people would like to have videos about. But survival analysis. I have a little pad of paper I keep all this stuff on right here. Analysis. So other people, that's definitely something I could think about doing. I think a lot of people have requested time series videos which I think is probably the direction I'm going to go after I finish the multiple regression videos. But yeah, survival analysis is definitely something I'm interested in and want to learn more about myself. So I can definitely add that to the repertoire. As I always say, it's very difficult for me to just do videos on demand. My time is very limited for YouTube because it's like I have 3 jobs. I have a full-time job and 2 part-time jobs, and it's hard to just create a video out of nowhere. So I do the best I can. But I add these videos to a list of topics that people would want. And if I have the time to do it, then I get to it. So do the best I can. So thank you, Raul. Appreciate that. So John says, I love your videos. I'm a mature age student in Australia. Mature aged. John. I am mature aged. I'll be 45 here soon. In Australia. Hope to make it there someday. And I've used your videos numerous times and they've helped me so much. Thank you for your work. Thank you, John. I really appreciate that. I'm glad that the channel was helpful for you in your educational journey. And no matter what age we are, we can never, it's never too late to stop learning, whatever, for enjoyment or for a degree or whatever else we want to do at any age. So it's never too late to continue our educational journey. So I'm glad that the channel has helped you out. So you are very welcome. Yes. Nope. You're my senior. Okay. Well, the space to be my senior is getting more narrow. So, it's good to have you here, John. Thank you for stopping by. Brandon helped me get my A in my first statistics course in uni. You're very welcome. I did not get an A in my first statistics course in uni because it was taught horribly. It was just taught so bad. And then I ended up falling in love with it later once I taught myself. So, yeah. Let's see here. Good question. Carlos asks, first, thank you for sharing your knowledge. You are very welcome. Thank you for stopping by and partaking in it. So I'm glad to help. I would like to know if there are post hoc tests for non-parametric statistics like the Kruskal-Wallis. Thank you. That is a good question. I do not use non-parametric statistics a whole lot. So let me check something. So let's see. So there are ways to do that. Let me see here. So the general answer to that question is yes, you can do post hoc for other non-parametrics. So in this case, the Kruskal-Wallis. And I'm trying to think. Let me go back here. Sorry for the searching here. Let's see here. Okay. So yes, there are some non-parametric ones. So yes, Bonferroni, Nemenyi test, similar to Tukey. So yes, and the Mann-Whitney U test, which I have heard of. So sorry for that long diatribe on non-parametrics, but yes, there are post hoc tests that you can use on non-parametric statistics. So the Mann-Whitney U is the one I've heard of before. All right, I'd like to know your views and, if possible, a video on data generation, synthetic manufactured data, techniques for it, and practices. Hopefully my question was clear. So, yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with generating your own data. I do it all the time. There are websites that will help you create randomized or generic data in many formats that you would like. You can also create it in Excel, really, if you want to. I think the trick is if you want a variable to follow a certain distribution, that you have to pull, numbers from that distribution, so they represent, whatever it is you want to represent. But yeah, so data generation can happen in all kinds of formats. And actually a lot of textbooks themselves use, generated data just for educational purposes, of course. Now, if you can get your hands on some real data, nowadays it's pretty easy. So you can use that. But often I will generate data for a specific purpose. So if I'm trying to teach something on YouTube or whatever else, and there's something in the data I want to teach you, I will purposely put that pattern in the data itself for educational purposes. So that's obviously one way that's used for educational purposes. So I don't think so as far as my views go, there's nothing wrong with that. Depends on the purpose of why you're generating the data and what the end is. Now, of course, we cannot present synthetic data as actual data. We wouldn't want to do that, but it's good for a learning experience, So, yes. Thank you for the super chat, Arjun. Mention LinkedIn regarding choice between structural equation modeling, regression, data set. Thank you. Okay, I will double check that. I've not been on LinkedIn as much, so I can definitely check in on that. And I will say, my knowledge of structural equation modeling is somewhat limited at this point, at least. That is something I'm going to dive into because I think it's really interesting. It's like I usually go into a topic and like read a little bit about it. I think to myself, is this something I want to learn more about at a deeper level? And this is one of those things. So I will have to go do some of my own work on that. So, all right. I love the KISS shirt logo, by the way. Awesome. Been using MATLAB in my data analysis, but still cannot get into it for months. Any journal advice now to speed up my learning? So the learning for MATLAB, is that what you're asking? So disclaimer, I don't use MATLAB for anything. I know it exists, obviously, but if you're talking about learning the software, some of the best way is just to like run through a problem from start to finish. So, importing data in, making sure the variables are set up how you want, doing any labeling in the variables, creating any new variables if you need to do that. And then just running a simple test. Start small. Like go in and just do like descriptive stats. Okay, how can I get descriptive stats from a variable? How can I do a plot or a correlation plot on a variable? And then just build up step by step. And then as you practice more, you'll get patterns down, of kind of how everything is. So if you're talking about learning the software itself, then it's just a matter of walking through some example problems. I'm also guessing that MATLAB probably has some built-in data sets you can practice on and just practice a little bit every day. So there's no way to learn something like that in one big sitting. You have to it's called paced rehearsal or you have to rehearse or practice on a regular basis every so often. So that's my advice, best I can give it, if that's what you're looking for. But if that's not what you were asking, just put a different question in the chat and I can clarify that for you. All right, what else do we got here? I'm just going to go through. Let's see. Yeah, so this is what I read about. So in SEM and the structural equation modeling, kind of group subjects into categories like, so basically create a component almost, latent variables. So I would have to look more into that, but I understand that that's kind of like what it's trying to do. So yeah, again, Arjun, my knowledge of SEM is somewhat limited, unfortunately. It's not something, obviously, in intro stats that's going to come up, which is kind of where I focus my educational videos and stuff on. All right. So bootstrapping, understand the gist of what it's about. However, feel like providing a quick rundown and which statistics can they be used with. So I'll tell you what, over on StatQuest, Josh recently did the video on bootstrapping. I recommend you go over and go to StatQuest and look at his bootstrapping video. You might find that helpful. But it's just another way. I've used bootstrapping in the past for confidence intervals. So you can just reach in and grab, samples over and over and over again. So yeah. So bootstrapping is just another technique. All right, let's see here. Thanks for your content. Really appreciate and inspire your work. Could you please make some videos of multiple regression examples using SPSS? Sorry if I missed it in your channel. So, Pujitha, so what I do is I don't focus on any one software package. If I do, it's usually just Excel because that's what most students across the world have access to. I mean, I could do Google Sheets, but Excel seems to be the business standard at least. So it's really, there's so many stats software packages and of course, coding platforms. It's really hard to make videos specifically for a software package. And a lot of the software manufacturers like SPSS or Minitab or Jump or whatever else actually have tutorials on their website where you can download the data set, follow through a problem, and go along with it. So I will say, so I've been using Minitab on some of my previous videos instead of SPSS, and I've been recently using Jump. So I haven't used SPSS in a long time because it's more used in like social sciences and stuff like that. However, the output from any multiple regression technique, whether it's Excel or SPSS or Minitab, usually looks the same. So if you look at something in SPSS and you can look at the output from another software package and see how they're related. Is one thing you can do. So, but will I make one using SPSS specifically? Probably. I don't even think I have SPSS right now. I think my license expired, honestly. So, all right. Thank you for the super chats, everybody. I really appreciate. I know everyone's strapped for money, and I appreciate the super chats here and there. So Rajiv, thank you very much. Thank you for your content. Helped me a lot over the years. You are very welcome, my friend. I'm glad to have been some help to you. So all right, about 10 15 more minutes. If any other questions, comments. I will say too, with some of these techniques, you can find simulations online. So bootstrapping, you can find some, bootstrapping specifically, you can find some simulations on there to see how they actually, do that iterative process of reaching in and, a bootstrapping and a sample. All right. All right. Yeah, so I have to learn more about structural equation modeling myself. So I think as more questions and comments come in, to let you know, I pretty much have decided to work on some time series videos after I get through the regression ones. That seems to be a very popular request on these live streams. And then on the comments in the YouTube channel itself or on LinkedIn, time series seems to be a popular request. So, and I'm interested in time series analysis because some of it, not all of it, but some of it is just an extension of regression in some ways, right? So it's kind of a natural segue into understanding how time series work. So I think that's might be where I'm going next here in the next few months. I'm also building a little studio behind me here to do some different types of content, over the next 6 months or so. So we're going to see. So the channel is getting very close to 250,000 subscribers, which I never thought in a million years would happen. So that is, when that happens, I might just do something a little bit different after that. So, all right. What other questions do you have? Let me go back through the chat here, see what we got. Let's see. I think I got most of these up. Yeah. So, I was advised to rather use multiple regression rather than structural equation modeling by adding the marks of subjects belonging to each subject, then checking for impact on marks of the subject in higher semester. Yep. It's one way to approach that, But again, I want to learn more about structural equation modeling. So, all right. Okay. Looking through the comments. So that is the plan, sort of going forward. And since I don't have any other social media or anything, I deleted it all, which was one of the best things I ever did in my life. If you have questions or anything, the best place to reach me is on LinkedIn. So send me messages on there. I try to get to all of them. As you can imagine, I get a lot of messages on LinkedIn, and I do my best to respond if possible. It's just there's so many, so I do the best I can. But that's the best place to get hold of me. Let's see here. Giovanni, starting to learn inferential stats on my own. Your video have been a huge help. You are very, very welcome. You're very welcome. So I'm glad they've helped. They have helped you along your journey. That's why I do it. And teaching yourself. That's one of the best ways to learn. So John asks, you've spoken to me through your videos for a number of years now. You've calmed me when I've been feeling slightly hysterical in stats. Thank you for that. That's part of my goal. I want to talk about that here in a minute. Kind of ask where you are from and what you do. So the first thing, when I started making the stats videos on YouTube, I'd been teaching for a very, very long time. So I'd taught thousands of students by that point. And I knew that when it comes to math and other disciplines, that a lot of students come into them with such math anxiety that they can't even begin to learn the content because of the anxiety they feel, or they just feel like they're not good at it, or they never could be good at something that's math-based or whatever. So the first step for me, like in the earlier videos especially, was to get everyone to just calm down, take a breath, and we can do this. Let's walk through it together, just step by step. Because if you're not emotionally ready to learn, the learning isn't going to happen. You have to get yourself in the right mindset for it to even happen. So I'm glad that whatever I was able to do was able to calm you down, John, and put you in that frame of mind so you can actually take a breath and dive in and feel confident and comfortable. So appreciate that. So where am I from and what do I do? So I currently live in Ohio in the United States. This is near where I was born, near the Cincinnati area. And what do I do? So in my day job, I work for a company called Cengage Learning that is separate from YouTube. Those are two separate things. They're not related in any way. So Cengage Learning, and I work on the product team at Cengage Learning that publishes the business stats and business analytics book. So this is one of the books that I work on in my day job. So I know those authors very well. Our team is amazing here at Cengage. So I work on these, and then of course the online courseware that students would log into, do their homework and their activities, and the ebooks in there and all that kind of stuff. So I work on the digital side. So I'm a learning designer is my title. I do many other things that are not part of my title, but that's what I do. So if you look, you can't see it, but that's my name right there. Right there. Oop, over. That's me. So that's my day job. And then I do YouTube on the side. That's my second job when I have time. And then I also do some voiceover for training courses. So my old company, the company I worked for before Cengage Learning, actually hired me back to largely continue what I was doing before. So I do work for them too. So those are my one full-time job and then 2 part-time jobs is what I do. And then of course I have many, many, many hobbies and a house to keep up and all kinds of stuff. So that's what I do. And that's where I'm at. Let's see here. Always grab the stat software my uni provides. Then you learn a wider variety of software. Yes. Very good point. If you are in a university setting, oftentimes the university or the department you're in will provide access to multiple software packages. And while you have access to them, why not learn them? So SPSS, Minitab, sometimes Jump, they'll have licenses to those, and you can download them and learn how to use them. So very good point. All right. Love from India. I love my viewers from India. So thank you for all your support, and I hope you all are doing well there. I know you had a really rough spring with everything going on, and I hope you're happy and healthy there. I hope to make it to you someday. It's a dream of mine. So thank you. All right. Is there any software in which I can perform more than one multiple regression test at the same time? So as in for different variables simultaneously. I'm not exactly sure what you're asking, but techniques such as best subsets regression are multiple regressions done simultaneously, if that's what you're asking. So like in a best subsets regression, it's going to run all the multiple regression models that fit the criteria you specify. So if you have 9 variables, but you only want to use the best 5 variables and only the best 2 models of 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 variables, and you can specify that, and it runs them all at once. So if that's what you're referring to. So that's the only thing I can think about this comment if I'm not getting at what you want. So yeah, and that's what Carlos just said. So it's the same thing. Like when you run the best subsets regression, you're going to get those measures that I've been making videos on or will be making videos on. And then you look at each regression model, and mallows here is a very common way of evaluating all those models, and then you can pick the best one depending on your criteria. Yeah. So yeah, Arjun, this is exactly what I was getting at. So what Carlos is saying here is what I said is when you run the best subsets regression, you'll get those statistics like mallows, AIC, BIC, stuff like that, and then you can evaluate all your models that you've run simultaneously. So, all right. Let's see here. Off topic. Let's see. How's the drone flying going? Pretty well. I haven't flown my drone in a little while because the weather here in Ohio has been crazy with storms and stuff like that. Or it's been an inferno, hot or storming. So I haven't really flown my drone in a little while, but I will once it cools down a little bit. Yeah, so Vainbow, I think that's what we're referring to. Yeah, it's just multivariate regression, multiple regression, best subsets. All right. What else we got here? I think we already got through this one. Yep, absolutely. Is stats without programming vain? I'm not sure what that is referring to. The no free lunch theorem. All right. Why is there a difference between outputs of SAS and PySpark? Filter where versus if then in SAS. I'm not sure what that is asking. Yeah, I'm not the person to ask about that. So I'm not familiar with I use jump from SAS, but I don't use actual SAS. And I'm not really a programmer by training, so I'm not exactly sure what to offer you on that one. Sorry. But yeah, so just when you're looking at your models, you're just going to run all the best subsets and then evaluate them based off whatever criteria, So Arjun is saying basically I have 8 subjects per semester. I need to check the impact of each subject on each subject of the succeeding semester. So that's the question that he's trying to analyze. There are ways to structure that with indicator variables potentially. Or I don't know, maybe some sort of time series is possible, could be. So we'll check on. So if you can help out each other in the chat or whatever, that's great. Please do that. All right, it's a couple more minutes here, and I'm gonna sign off. So if you have any last minute question or so, now's the time to post it because I'm gonna head out and meet up with some friends here in a bit and get on with my Saturday. So, all right, I'll look for any last minute questions. But yeah, so the plan is to be here every Saturday. So my birthday is July 28th. I don't think that's on a weekend. I think it's on a Wednesday. I do believe. Which I was born on a Wednesday. It is. So we'll be here around that time. But the way you can help me out as the fall semester comes forward is just, if you think the channel is helpful, which I assume you are because you're here, is to just share it, on LinkedIn, share it with classmates, colleagues, or friends, like I always say. Try to get more people into the channel because the more people that come into the channel, the more I can make content. You know what I mean? So that's the way you can help me. That's the way you can help me out. So cracking open a cold one with the boys. Now that's a Saturday. Yeah, it's boys and girls where I go. But yes, I'm going to have a nice cold Guinness this Saturday, which, as one of you know, is my favorite adult beverage. Favorite beer is Guinness. So I'm going to have a draft Guinness when I get there with my friends. So that is the plan. All right. So I don't see any more unanswered questions here or anything. So I'm going to wrap this up. If you have a question, hit me on LinkedIn. Make sure you connect with me on LinkedIn if you haven't already. That's the best place to put questions in there because I can have a record, of when you asked it, and I try to go back and get them as much as possible. So, yeah. So, is there a forum where I can ask stats questions and interact with other folks? So you can interact with people in the comments sections of YouTube. So in my videos, usually if you respond to someone, there's probably a 50-50 chance they'll respond back to you. The best place maybe is LinkedIn. If you respond to comments in LinkedIn, people will usually, answer a quick question for you. There are obviously many groups on LinkedIn where you can chat with folks inside the group, of course. You have Reddit groups. There's all kinds of different groups. You can, Quora, you could chat with people on there. That's Quora, if you're not familiar with that. So, yeah, those are good places to check out and talk with other folks, So, and of course here, of course. So, all right, John, yes, to be in summer. It is very nice. All right. So I'm going to wrap this up, and I wish you all a safe, healthy, and happy rest of your Saturday. And I will see you again soon. Thank you all for stopping by. Take care.